All right, Broncos country, what is going on, man? Horsepower Hour is back. It is on. And we are 3/4 of the usual team as David with David Talks Broncos is not going to be joining us tonight, unfortunately. But I am joined by my good friends, Kodiak and Jeremy with Broncos Unbridled. Fellas, how are you guys feeling today that the Broncos are the 2025 AFC West champions? Kodiak, I'll start off with you, bro.
Man, when the only problems throughout your team's year is how they're winning games as opposed to how many games they're winning, you're doing something really, really right. So, yeah,
Yes.
I'm feeling good. I know it wasn't very pretty, but as Sean Payton said, it doesn't need to be aesthetically pleasing to be effective. So, you know what? And for all the people that were wanting to rip their hair out on Thursday Night Football, guess what? Get ready for more of the same. Get ready for more of the time of possession and getting out of there with minimal injuries, because that's ultimately what's going to make us calloused and battle tested for the playoffs. So, lap dance Lance, we're coming for you.
I agree.
Nice. Man, so when we were doing our predictions episode, we were kind of hoping it was going to come down to that Christmas night game in Kansas City where we take back the reign of the AFC West for the first time in a decade. We win that game, and it turns out the team we were playing no longer even in contention, but we had to wait 2 more extra days. But lo and behold, we're AFC West champs again. And yeah, it's great that it's just probably the best scenario for us to be able to. I mean, Houston did us a favor. We kind of get to the Chargers are going to be at full strength now because they're going to kind of want to rest up a little bit, use it as a bye, and gives us a really good opportunity to seize the number 1 seed. I mean, going into this season, if you would have been like, the Broncos are not only going to win the AFC West, which you'd be like, I'll take any of that. They're going to be in contention for the number 1 seed in week 18 with a very, very good chance to take that and have home field throughout the playoffs. I mean, I wouldn't have probably believed that. So, I mean, you just got to take a step back and realize like what an incredible year this has been.
It has been, man. It's been wild. It's been at times, I know for me, really almost like you got to pinch me, right? Is this actually happening type of a year? But it's been amazing. And I think, you know what, at least what a lot of us have learned. I mean, sometimes we might sound like we're Broncos homers, but I think what a lot of us have learned is that it really doesn't matter how you win games. The point differential doesn't mean anything. The most important thing is, can you figure out how to consistently find ways to win? And I think the Broncos have done a really good job of doing that. And a part of me does wish that this game was strength on strength, like their full starters against ours. But what Sean Payton said today, and what I think this team will do, is treat this game as if it's a playoff game, similar to Week 18 of last year. So I expect for them to have, you know, really good effort because they obviously understand what's on the line. So it's been amazing, man. It's been amazing, but it's only the first goal of 3 main ones. And but hey, if you want to accomplish, you know, all 3 goals, you got to start somewhere. So I think it's amazing. I think what this Broncos team has done has been fantastic. So here's my question to you, Jeremy. I'll start with you. Is when it comes to like this next game against the Chargers, are you happy that the situation worked the way that it is, where they're going to be kind of resting some of their starters, or do you kind of wish it was a not only win the game and win the AFC West, but also clinch the number 1 seed in the process?
Just because of where we're sitting, I'm happy the way it turned out because it gives us a very good opportunity to get the number 1 seed, and it's just so valuable. So, like, if this was one of those ones where it's just like it kind of didn't matter that much, but I just wanted to see their strength on strength going into the playoffs, I'd have been fine with that. But like, there's a lot riding on this one, and it's kind of always interesting to see like the philosophy of coaches. And I didn't know how Harbaugh was going to like play that, but like it shows me that they are beat up. They lost a game. They probably feel like, you know, I mean, that was kind of, if they won those 2 games, they could have had the number 1 seed and the AFC West. So like they lost a big game. So I think they're kind of like licking their wounds, taking their time, trying to get everybody as healthy as they possibly can. But like that, it ends up helping us, but it's also, my dog agrees. I think it's just one of those things where it's just like we've been tested so many times this season where it's been like, can we do this? Can we pull this out? That I'm not feeling the need for that at the last game of the year. Other seasons, I feel like, is this team ready? But I've just seen it so many times that I feel like very confident in that. And it's nice that we get like a mini bye and then go out, handle business, and then get hopefully another bye. And I just think that's good for the team. We don't have to play this game soft because I think we can now like go in, handle it. And hopefully there's like, without injuries, I hope there's like a Jarrett Stidham sighting on Sunday, just so like we're up ahead. But I thought that might happen against the Chiefs, and then I'm like, of course it's not going to happen against the Chiefs.
It's this team. They're not about
No.
making it easy for Bronco fans. Kodiak, what are your thoughts overall?
Am I gonna complain about it? No, but would I have liked to have seen like us against Herbert, especially against the guy who's had our number since Bo got drafted, against a coach that honestly has had Sean Payton's number since he got hired to be the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. Would I have liked to have seen us do strength on strength and earn our division or our 1 seed? Sure. But once again, I'm not going to complain. Like in the NFL, a lot of the times it's just about the hand you're dealt. And the Chargers, they're so beat up right now that they're fine just being like, all right, whatever. Let's just regroup. We don't give a shit. We're not going to win the division. So whatever. And ultimately, you made your own luck. You made your own luck by not needing, not keeping the Chargers in it. Okay. I remember when we were on cover 4, I think, with Mario Vitanzi. Thank you. Shout out to Miller Time 707 for that super chat. Thank you. I don't know whose channel you sent that on, but that is awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you.
Yes.
We all
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
your support.
You're the man.
Regardless, I remember we were on cover 4 with Mario, Mile High Mario. I think it was the Tuesday the Chargers beat us, week 3. And Mark said that week 18, it's okay because we were going to take back the division. We were going to take back the 1 seed, and everything will all work out. And everything has worked out, And once again, we made our own fortunes with all those fourth quarter comebacks. I know that it's been rough waters. I know a lot of the times that this fan base wants to rip their hair out. I know that a lot of the times during the games, we want to jump off a cliff because of how painful things are looking for our team. But at the end of the day, you're 13-3, and I could have never have imagined this team being 13-3 heading into week 18. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we still were down a lot of picks from the Russ trade. I thought we were still down too much cap space, but you know what? That doesn't matter. Sean Payton has this team calloused. He has them battle tested. And you know what? We already got our playoff experience last year in Buffalo. So it's all about these building blocks that have led to this moment, not only against the Chargers, but going forward in the AFC playoffs.
Very, very well said, man. I think you make a good point. We did earn it. We earned it by winning those 13 games to be in a situation now where we can win and be the top seed. I think it's amazing. Quick thoughts. Is there anything before we get into the stock up, stock down? Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about specific to the Christmas Day game against the Chiefs? I know we haven't had a chance to speak since then. It feels like it happened a month ago for whatever reason. Just such a crazy long weekend. But I'll kind of open it up to you and get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Jeremy, you want to start? Or
I mean, to me, it was like it was just like the more thing I said to Mark when we did like the post was just like, of course they're never going to make it easy. Of course, everybody think it's going to be easier than it is. It's like people are fumbling the football, picking them up, and then throwing for first downs on you. You're like, all right, I guess whatever. You have 57 yards of offense and it's tied. How? I don't know. But like, it's just one of those things. So that game was a weird one. And like I told Mark, a lot of people had a nice glazed ham for Christmas and everybody else got a glazed Travis Kelce game because my goodness, they act like this guy like went to the moon and back. And it's just like he had a good career, man. Good job. And that's all and hopefully that's that. It's interesting. I just real quick about that. Watching that Elway doc that I recommended for you guys to watch, and I know you guys have watched it since. Yeah. It just goes to show you like how amazing, like walking off, like back-to-back Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP is your last game you've ever played football. It's just, I know Travis Kelce was like I want to come back because we lost in the Super Bowl and I don't want to go out that way. And now he's going out as a 6-win team, like where no one cares. And it's just kind of sad. Well, people, I mean, obviously like the media cares, but like, it just is like shows that more how amazing the Elway thing was. It really was. And it's not an easy thing to do. And it's sad. It's kind of sad to see like you go out on the way he did, but not for Broncos fans at all.
No, not at all. I think talking about the game specifically, I think, what it taught me was that there's a lot of things that we just have to swallow and accept with Sean Payton being our coach. Like, obviously, he has done the most remarkable turnaround in professional sports. Jeremy actually disagrees with me and thinks that his Saints turnaround was even more impressive, which, I mean, we'll talk about that at a later date. But, I still think, up against unprecedented circumstances, lack of draft picks, lack of capital, the fact that we're where we are now, 3 years after getting our doors blown off and getting roasted by Patrick Starr on Christmas Day, that's pretty remarkable. That being said, there are some things that we just have to accept with Sean Payton being our coach. And I guess one of them is these Thursday night games are going to look ugly. Okay. And you know what? When you have a third string quarterback, I guess you did get a little fortunate that Oludekon was back there for the Kansas City Chiefs. But ultimately, this is how I want the Broncos to play football. Would I like them to finish their drives in the red zone? Sure. Would I like them to turn the football over? No, absolutely not. But I said after the Raiders game that I think, that proved to me that this team has what it takes. The second Raiders game we had where we just kept possession and kept, time possession. That's how ideally I want the Broncos to play football. Now, you do have to do more things. Like you can't throw picks. You got to finish your drives in the red zone. You got to not make it easy for a third string quarterback who is literally a no name that is getting his first NFL start to not escape the pocket. So like whatever. But at the end of the day, it's okay. Like once again, it's when the problem is how you're winning as opposed to how many games you've won, you're doing something completely right. And, a lot of people last year, a lot of people this year are just like, well, the Chiefs didn't, or look what the Broncos were doing this year compared to what the Chiefs were doing last year. And my response is, listen, the Chiefs were given so many games by the referees last year. We don't have ref ball on our side. Okay. We have the complete opposite. A lot of the times it feels like we're fighting an uphill battle. So
definitely.
Yeah, ultimately, I feel like our year is actually more impressive than theirs was last year, with all our fourth quarter comebacks and winning by the skin of our teeth. And say what you want about the quality of opponents or whatever, but at the end of the day, this team is making sure that they are calloused for the postseason. So, yeah, those are overall my thoughts. Like, would I have liked it to be a little more stress-free? Absolutely. Like, I think the fact that they got Oludekon in our territory with 45 seconds to go was just completely, like, that's not what championship teams do. But, hey, whatever. Well, it's, short week, whatever. We'll regroup and we'll just look forward to the Chargers right now.
And if I could piggyback, can I piggyback on that real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
First of all, it was just sweet justice to have Chris Jones being the person jumping off sides to give us the opportunity to score a touchdown. It was like, oh my gosh, the guy who's like so annoyed about all these penalties is the guy that created the one and only penalty. Surprise, surprise. And then the other thing that I wanted to say about what you were just saying about how people compared us to the Chiefs and then they end up going to the Super Bowl, but then getting blown out. But yeah, that's one team that won close games that got blown out. The other team in the Super Bowl also won close games and then blew someone out. So why do we only look at the negative and not why can't we be the Eagles and not the Chiefs? I hate that. And I hate the fact that everyone's like, oh, like national media. They're like, the Broncos are in, they're cruising for a bruising. They're coming up to a rude awakening. It's like, yeah, so are 31 other teams in the NFL. That's why Super Bowls are freaking hard to win, dude. One wins a year. That's it. So literally the people who are picking the Broncos to win the AFC West before the season started, kudos to them. They went out on a limb, but none of those people were picking them to win the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, none of them. So let's just relax on the whole, well, they did good, I guess, but it's we are so ahead of schedule of where we thought we were going to be. Let's just calm down. We're still paying $35 million to Russell Wilson, for God's sake. So yeah, that annoys me.
Yeah, it was a really weird game, man. It was a strange game because I mean, we dominated in really every facet, aside from a very unlucky pick, a great play by Nick Bolton. Dude, we had 40 minutes time of possession. We held them to 139 yards. We had 303. Like, I just felt like we dominated them, but it was just weird that the score was not really showing that, and I think that's where it got a little bit frustrating. But really, when you look at the game, like on a macro level, I feel like we were in total control, and that brings me to this really good point by Miller Time here, because I think we think this every single year. And he says it's wishful thinking, but do you think Sean's holding out for some better plays in the playoffs? I think he's been vanilla on purpose, especially the last game. I mean, it's a short week. It's an opponent you should absolutely crush. You treat it like a preseason game. That's kind of, what they did. And this game against the Chargers might look very similar. But I don't know if he's necessarily holding out. I don't know if teams do that because they want to practice. But I think that they showed a lot of what this offense is going to look like in like the month-long stretch, before leading up to really the Packers game, where they went under center a lot more, where they really, committed to running more, or at least doing plays that were like extensions of the run, but getting Bo under center, do some play action, getting him more comfortable. I think that's going to be a lot more of what it is that we see. But the big thing is being able to finish on the drives. I mean, the red zone on both sides of the ball, how our defense does in the red zone and how our offense does, has really dictated most of the way games have gone all year. And I think it's going to be no different in the playoffs. So we will see. All right. You guys want to do some stock up, stock down?
Well, real quick on that, I just wanted to say, like, I do think Sean Payton is like kind of keeping some stuff. I think these last couple of games, let's just get in, let's control the clock. I mean, he's by design trying to get these long drawn out drives, make the game way shorter, get out without a lot of plays, and just handling it that way. So I do think that's purposeful. And also on the play calling, I think he has certain things he really, really likes that he is kind of, I don't know, not saving because he probably has run them before, but like he knows, like, we're going to save this again. I think tempo is a big part of that. I know when he's yelling at the media to be like, shut up about tempo, it's because he's like, I got you. I'm watching
Especially
it too.
at
I
home.
understand.
Especially at home, man.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So like, I think there's a lot of things. That doesn't mean it's media. Just because he's holding them doesn't mean it's going to work, but it does mean I think he does have his eye on some certain stuff for sure. And it kind of depends on the matchup and all that kind of stuff. But like, I do think there's a little bit of that for sure.
Well said. I completely agree. So any other thoughts, Kodiak, on that? You want to piggyback on that at all before we?
Yeah, I'm with Jeremy. Like, I know that Tim Jenkins, who's a way smarter football mind than I pretty much will ever be, he said that the Broncos' game plan against the Chiefs was the most like vanilla thing, like almost like a preseason game plan, like a day one training camp install, where they just did not throw in any like specialized concepts in. They were just like, all right, we're just going to run like the most basic plays, run the most basic playbook. And, I thought Bo did a fantastic job. I know a lot of people on my timeline, and I have friends that are up in New England, were just like, oh my God, he had such a horrible game. I'm just like, dude, did you not understand our game plan? Do you not understand what we were trying to do? Did you not understand that we were just trying to control the clock? And yeah, it shouldn't have been that close at the end, but I put that primarily on the special teams. I put that on, a couple guys on offense for not being able to finish in the red zone. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Yep, totally. I thought he played really well.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more at all. So that brings us a good segue. Jeremy, if you want to take it away.
Yeah.
Some stock up, stock down. I know that this is your baby.
Let's just start off with that right there. I thought Bo played really, really well. The one interception was like a really good throw and play by him. It just was like a little bit more amazing of a job by the Chiefs defense, and like him getting even a hand on that was like pretty incredible, and it just bouncing or like flying right to, I forget who picked it off, but like literally it could only have gone right there.
Nick
Bolton that picked it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a good play by Bo, and it just was like ended up being a bad result, but like I really didn't feel it like there was anything that I was just like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't have done that. That was just unfortunate. And that just is one of those things where it's like, for whatever reason, this season, I felt the same way in 2015. And I'm not saying it's going to end that way, but like, there's a reason all this is happening every week. There seems to be like a moment or a time when it's like, okay, this game is going to come down to like who makes plays in the clutch. It's going to come down to the end. And on that last drive that we ended up getting the go ahead touchdown, there was like 3rd and 10s and 3rd and like 2nd and 15s and stuff that people like kind of forget because we scored. But like, those are big moments. If you don't convert that, like you're punting and then they have an opportunity to pull off some stupid thing with one play. So for whatever reason, this season, every single game, it feels like there's been more and more tests that we have to pass. And when there is a season like that and you're passing them, I feel like it's adding up for some reason. Like, just to be disappointed in a random game. Like, I don't know. I just believe that things like you're approached by things or things are like opportunities are come to you, and it's how you deal with those. And then you get more and then you get more. And I feel like this team has accepted those opportunities and like passed those tests. So.
Yep. Well said. Kodiak, who do you have on stock up, stock down?
Man, you guys talked about it in your post-game show the day after, but I was sitting on my grandparents' living room, absolutely bored out of my mind watching you guys. And I was like, oh, I want to contribute. And, you guys talked about Alex Forsyth. Man, oh, man, talk about redemption, okay? Talking about the disaster that happened last year in Arrowhead. And really, we haven't seen him on the field since that point. Or I know he had played on field goal block. I know he played a couple snaps here and there on special teams. But, talk about him. I thought he played fantastic. It's clear that the locker room really respects him. It's clear that the locker room has his back. Like, even after the thing happened last year, Bo was like, listen, man, anybody blaming him for what happened, he was really sticking up for it. But then McGlinchey comes out and says, yeah, like he works harder than almost anybody on this team. So I was really, really happy with Forsyth. Like, I know that there's been a lot of anti-Wattenberg propaganda this year, especially early on. Like, I think in the back half of the year, he's been great or whatever. But, there are a lot of people that were excited to see Forsyth. And like, I wasn't one of them. I was never one of those like, hey, let's bench Wattenberg or whatever. But at the end of the day, Forsyth came in and he looked fantastic. And you know what? I guess I did comment this on your guys' stream as well. MVP, one of the team unsung MVPs this year, Zach Strief, man. You plug Palcho in, you barely lose anything at left guard. You plug Forsyth in, you barely lose anything at center. Now, the real test will become playoff time. Let's see how Forsyth does with the challenge. Let's see how Palczewski does with the challenge if they're still rotating him in or out or whatever. But at the end of the day, stock up Alex Forsyth.
Great one. Yep.
That's a good pull, man. I think, yeah, Forsyth was awesome. My stock up is definitely got to be RJ Harvey, man. Yes, there's been some things that we've been critical on him about, his average yards per run, and is he a traditional running back? And I think that there's a lot of room for growth. But, dude, all this guy has done is make plays. He's got 12 touchdowns on the season. 12 as a rookie. You can make the argument, I made a video about it, you can make the argument that he should be up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He won't win it because running backs have to have like an unbelievable year to win that award. But, dude, talk about someone that wasn't even the starter for, a majority of the season. And he's come in, bunch of pressure, bunch of different things on his shoulders, learning multiple positions. And all he's done, in my opinion, I feel like is make plays. And I'm looking forward to see how RJ Harvey's gonna continue growing and what he can contribute for us in the playoffs, because he's massive, man. He's absolutely massive. Jeremy, you got anybody else? Stock up,
yeah.
Stock down you want to go with?
Yeah, let's go another stock up. Let's go Jonah Ellis. I just thought he played. I mean, you kind of forgot like all that he can bring, and then you saw some of that. Like there was one, I think, where they ran at him, he shed his block and then made the tackle on the guy that was coming his way. And it was just like, oh shoot, that was like next level. And he is relentless. That's what I liked about him coming out of college from Utah. And I was just like, oh yeah, this is a really, really good guy to have on the football field. It's interesting to see how the pass rush is kind of toned down a little bit in these last few weeks. Sean Payton made a comment about that being kind of by design, as far as like it's more important to keep them in the pocket than letting them escape because we're like overdoing or whatever. But man, having your backup pass rusher be Jonah Ellis right now is just like, man, this guy could wreck a game. Like he's like right there. So seeing that again, I was just like, man, thank goodness he's back, and we really need him going in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I love me some Jonah Ellis. His brother's been balling tonight too, man. He's a good player.
They're all good, man.
Yeah. Kodiak?
Yeah, so if you do me a favor and highlight the most recent comment from Vic Chin 8655, I don't know what it is, but it seems like our offense just does not work without Lil Jordan Humphrey. I can't understand it. I don't understand it. He's a role guy. When Lil Jordan Humphrey left last year, I was like, thank goodness. I was tired of watching him get so many snaps on the field when he's not really that much of a factor in the receiving game. I was so tired of watching him drop balls right into the defender's hands. I was so tired of him turning the football over on the first drive of the game. And he did that for like a month straight last year. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know what it is, man. But ever since we signed him, and his first game was the Chiefs game, the first Chiefs game, and that was really when our offense really flipped the switch like that overnight. So I'm willing to put that on Lil Jordan Humphrey because Trent Sherfield sucked. Like before we cut him, I was literally thinking that Trent Sherfield had the worst year of anybody on this team, like with no exaggeration. But yeah, I thought Lil Jordan Humphrey, he made that really, really clutch play on 3rd and 10 where he was just wide open in the middle of the field. Nobody even close to him. And overall, I just think that, he's one of the unsung heroes of this team too, because, we believe in second chances here in Broncos country. Think about Garrett Bowles, think about Vance Joseph. Well, I guess I'm very happy to admit that I was wrong about Lil Jordan Humphrey. So once again, can't explain it. I have no idea why it is the way that it is. But once again, with these Sean Payton things, you're just going to have to accept that you're going to have a bunch of skill dudes who do the very unsexy things. And Lil Jordan Humphrey is the ultimate engine that makes this offense go. Can't explain it, but hey, whatever. Sports are weird.
And he might be the best like yak receiver we have, honestly. He has that ability. And there was that play that you're talking about on the 3rd and 10 where he caught it. I mean, he was like an ankle tackle away from maybe breaking that to the house because he was like super pissed off that he got tackled there. He just doesn't get the ball enough. But I just remember that one play he made when Stidham came in and Stidham hit him on that like slant. And then he took like a 50-yarder to the house and he broke like 4 tackles. It's like, we don't have that guy typically. Too, right? Yeah. So like, if you can give him some space, like he can cook, man. It's just like, it was always the 2 steps forward, 1 step back with him. And this year so far, knock on wood, like he's been really good and I'm glad to have him back.
Yeah. That play you're talking about, Stidham, that is the most effort I saw Judy show his entire time here. Judy was like running and blocking dudes downfield. I'm just like, where in the world has this been? All 4 years that we had him.
That's right. I remember
that was a big, man. I remember watching Michael Burton go down and lay a block too, hustling his ass off. And I thought, okay, I understand why Sean likes that guy now.
Yeah.
Because that was all effort, all heart there as well. But no, that's a good pull. I think my stock up, one more for me is PJ Locke, man. Talk about a really nice bounce back. I mean, he was horrible against the Jags. Horrible. He looked late. He looked like he was missing plays, missing tackles, couldn't cover anybody. Really, really was definitely worried about him, but he was flying around against the Chiefs, man. I think he really wanted to go out there, play better. Thought he looked a lot better, and we're going to need him. We're going to need him because he's going to play at least the next 2 games, and we know one of those will be a playoff game for sure. So shout out to PJ Locke. It was nice to see him bounce back a little bit, and someone that I'll always root for, especially, hearing his story in the offseason with the broken, I think it was a broken neck or was it a broken back? Either way, it was terrible.
I don't know.
Oh, I think it was neck. Yeah.
Yeah, it was his neck, I think. Yeah. And, to be able to see what he's gone through, Broncos stuck with him. Hopefully he can go out there and continue to make plays, man. We need him to be as good as we possibly can with some of the injuries that we got on the defense. So, Jeremy, any stock downs or any additional stock ups?
Sure. Yeah. I can throw the kitchen sink here. Like I got 2 little stock ups and 2 stock downs. Quinn Miners getting Chris Jones to jump was like, that was the play of the game, honestly.
Yeah.
And for him to like do the snap count and then be the one that like got him and forced them to call that penalty, that was so huge. And he was pumped. So that was awesome. Michael Bandy, 2 games in a row. Like,
yeah,
give
dude.
him a little love.
Is he a problem? Is he good, man?
I think he's probably
he
decent.
seems like he's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, Tim Jenkins even like shouted him out like with one of the plays where they kind of ran a rub route without even being a rub. It's just like it kind of gets in the receiver's way for just a half a second, and Bandy's breaking out. And if you throw it right when he's breaking, there's nothing that the defense can do. But like to trust a practice squad guy to be like, you have to run this exact route, this exact time, and be ready to catch it. And he did on that third. It was like a third down where he just caught it. And I was like, man, Michael Bandy, I like seeing him. When you see him, you kind of go like, oh, Wes Welker or whatever with the 83 and short white guy. But
he looks like him. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, that was awesome. Stock downs are my typicals. The refs always like got to make it us against them. I don't, it's like
the refs always take L's from Jeremy on horsepower hour. Dude. It's the best.
Can you, for one time in your life, like just call a hold ever? Like it's insane, dude. I told Mark, I was like, they could rip the arm off of like Nick Bonito and they wouldn't call a hold. Like, it's just insane. So he's complaining about non-calls. Meanwhile, their quarterback's fumbling it and picking it up and throwing for first downs. It's just like so frustrating. The other one was just like, I've already mentioned it, but it's like the announcers just obsession with the Kansas City Chiefs and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And just like, just get over. It's over. Like, even when they're losing, they can't stop talking about it. I don't understand. I've never seen anything like it watching football my whole life. I've never seen commentators just be so enthralled. And the thing about Travis Kelce is like 99% of the players in the NFL, they just call them by their first and last name. Bo Nix, Drake May, whoever. They call Travis Kelce Travis. Like, Travis is running, Travis with the touchdown. It's like, do you know this dude? You guys like hanging out on the weekends? Like, what is this? It's crazy. Like, they don't call him Kelce. They call him Travis. It's like, I don't get it. I don't know. But I'm glad it's almost over.
Yeah, I think the only time that's actually acceptable is when a quarterback has like or not even a quarterback, but like a player has like a defined nickname like Dak or Lamar. Because how many other Lamars or Daks are there in the NFL? Yeah. But yeah, no, Travis, that's ridiculous. Like, it's
like a soccer player.
Yeah, that'd be like a WWE announcer calling John Cena John. Like, cool. No. Cool, good job.
Yeah.
Big Mac, I've already mentioned this. I've been pretty I guess I haven't had the chance to actually come on and make content about this, but the pass rush, you guys are killing me. You guys are absolutely murdering me lately. Like, I know Sean Payton said that thing, well, you don't want to have you don't want to have him escape the pocket. You don't want to do the cage rushes. They didn't even do a good job containing him. Okay. No. He had those 2 like decent scrambles for whatever. And once again, I'm not like, I know everybody's making it about Nick Bonito because we just paid him and he was off to a really hot start early in the year. And that's completely fine. And that's completely valid. I think some of it's on Zach Allen too. Even though he's not like the get sacks guy, he's just the push the pocket, get sacks or whatever. He had 9 pressures against Green Bay. So ultimately I'm not worried about him. But Jonathan Cooper, where have you been at, dude? Like, He has 1 half sack, I think, in the last 6 games. I heard, I was on a plane watching Zach and Phil on 104.3. I think Phil brought that up, and I'm just like, dude, like, where are these guys? What in the world happened? That, like, I know that schematically there have been things to be done that just slow down our pass rush, because I think teams realize that in just true drop back situations, I think that they know that it favors us, especially with our pass rush. But at a certain point, you got to make a play, dude. Like, you were going up against 3rd, 4th, 5th string offensive tackles. You went up against the Jaguars' 2nd string offensive tackle, and Nick Bonito called himself out. Was like, I played terrible.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I played terrible. He was like, I played like ass today against the Jaguars. And then what does he do? He comes out against the 3rd stringer, and Bonito gets like a batted pass, which thank you for batting that pass away, I guess. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, maybe help your secondary out a little bit. Maybe don't give a 3rd string quarterback all day in the pocket. Maybe make Trevor Lawrence actually do something to you. we did it really well in the first 2 drives of the game against Jacksonville. But other than that, man, these dudes were just getting pushed around and bullied. And once again, I think it was a little bit better this past game. But I mean, I would have expected that. You're going up against what? A completely depleted Chiefs team. So get it together, pass rush. Like, I'm sorry. Now, once again, I'm calling them out, obviously. I think, they've earned the graces and the faith of Broncos country. But if this happens, if this shows up in the first playoff game, we're going to have some real discussions about this team or about this unit.
Yep, 100%. I think Jonathan Cooper was definitely my big stock down. Really disappointed with how he played. I mean, at least Nick Bonito had 4 quarterback pressures. Jonathan Cooper had 0, and he wasn't even that good against the run and sealing the edge at times, it seemed like. And then I got really pissed, honestly, from him with his stupid late night tweets. F the Chiefs, and what else did he say? He said something like
he said Kareem Hunt's a bitch.
Oh, he said Kareem Hunt's a bitch, and he said something like, yeah, he was going on this little rant. And I don't understand it. Like, I don't know, man. I've never been a fan of that, because if the roles were flipped and, we had the run that the Chiefs just had, and then we had a shitty season this year, and the Chiefs were on the up and up, or any team, and there was a guy just like talking crap about a player. It's like, obviously the Chiefs have been living rent-free in Jonathan Cooper's head. I didn't like it at all. I'm glad that he deleted it, but it's a really weird thing from him. And he kind of had that little back and forth in the Giants game too. So listen, if you're going to go out there and ball, talk all the crap that you want, but you've been struggling the last few weeks. I don't like it. I don't like any extra attention kind of being put on our shoulders as a team. But I also wanted to say stock down for Court. I'm glad Miller Time talked about it. Dude, yep. Cortland Sutton's been killing me. Yep. Similar to how we just dogged on Bonito and Cooper, and they're like the biggest reason for arguably for the success that we've had this year. And Cortland's been phenomenal. He's been so clutch for us this year, but the drops have got to stop, dude. Like I can't deal with it no more. Come the playoffs, he's got to get it cleaned up. I mean, dropping an absolute dime of a throw from Bo Nix between 2 guys, hits him in the numbers in the end zone. He drops it. He only got credited for 1 drop. I don't know. PFF's weird with that, but he had easily 4. Yeah, he had easily 4 last game. Man, he's a leader of this team. He's the most reliable guy that we have typically, and I just feel like he's got to start playing a lot better. No doubt about that.
I think they lower the drop numbers just so it's not so bad. I don't think they want Bo to have as good as stats, honestly. And I think they don't want it to look like he has all these drops when he literally has 6 a game, it feels like. And Cortland having 4. That touchdown one, it's going to come down to a play like that in one of these playoff games. And you have to catch it. You're bigger than everybody. You're a professional. I'm always saying it to myself watching the game. I'm like, you literally get paid to catch the football. That's it. Please do that. Catch it. Catch the football. You know what I mean? You can't do it 50% of the time. And at this point, Bo, you should know how Bo's going to throw it. I remember that he threw one that kind of came in real fast or whatever. And it was he dropped that one, and that could have been another touchdown on a, cross or whatever. And I was just like, what are we doing? This NFL, watching John Elway docs, and he's ripping 70-mile-an-hour throws every single throw, and they're catching them in the 80s. Why can't we catch them? I don't understand. So it's yeah, that was the one thing. And I love Cortland, and I'm sure he felt the same way that we did, or worse. But it was just that game could have been over with if he just catches the football.
I think a big problem is that I think Sean Payton summarized it in training camp, and I think this quote kind of went really overlooked until one of my commenters brought it up in After Dark about a month ago when I was doing Denver Broncos Tonight. Sean Payton said that Chris Abrams-Drain has the best hands on the team. That's
wow.
I'm sure Chris Abrams-Drain has great hands, but at the end of the day, you have I don't know how many wide receivers you're carrying on this team. I don't know. I know we have much bigger aspirations this year, especially at this point of the year, but I think going into the offseason, that's going to be a huge, huge talking point. All right, can we add a guy who can just be there, just be reliable? You guys remember Tim Patrick? That dude would get 100 targets a year from the worst quarterbacks. That dude got 100 targets in the Bridgewater year, and he didn't drop a single ball. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, like Cortland Sutton, you just got to come up bigger, because imagine what this game would have been like had Sutton held on to at least one of those footballs. It would have been way less stressful. And once again, you're right, Jeremy. It didn't hurt us against the Chiefs, but it shouldn't have hurt us against the Chiefs. All right. If something like that happens against the Chargers, if something like that happens against, whoever you play in the AFC playoffs, then it's going to come back to bite you. Like, the margin for error is this slim. Okay. So yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. Huge stock down to Cortland Sutton. There was no stock down that I wanted to mention. Oh yes. I feel like the Palczewski Powers thing, it's just not working. I feel like both those guys, just whatever they're in, I'm just incredibly unimpressed. And I think on the Bo interception, Palczewski just completely whiffs on his block. Like he's blocking air. And this never happened all season. I feel like the rotating guys in and out, it is just, it is, just commit to one and just go from there. Because at the end of the day, like, Palcho has played some phenomenal football this year. You guys can see my jersey I got in the back. But at the end of the day, yeah, no, it's a little like you can't see these guys get into a rhythm, when they're being pulled out and subbed out, and, one drive is yours, one drive is the other. Like, dude, it's not the preseason. We're going for the 1 seed. Just play him. Like, okay, whatever. Mark, didn't you have that same surgery that Powers did? And like, you said that your strength wasn't up to full speed. It's good that they're getting him acclimated, and I get the reasoning behind it. And maybe short-term pain leads to long-term gain. That's certainly the hope, and I get the thinking behind that. But right now, it's painful. Maybe long-term it pays off, but right now it's painful.
Yeah, I would be shocked if that's going to be how we proceed moving forward. I'm confident 100% of the reason is to just get Ben Powers back up to full speed. I think he probably plays 100% of the snaps this week. And if it doesn't look good, then they might have to just start Palcho, because we know how it looks with him, because it's obviously a health thing right now with Ben Powers. But I would be, I agree with you 100%, but I'd be floored if that was the plan moving forward. Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was just going to say, like, I honestly think that's Sean Payton's whole philosophy is like short-term pain for long-term gain. Like the way he like even brought Bo in day one, he's like, I'm going to give him too much to chew. And then he's just going to get acclimated to that. And then there's certain quarterbacks, they're like, this is their strength set and this is their skill set. And then we're just going to play their strengths all the time. And they don't really ever advance to that. Then once the defenses kind of learn that, then they're kind of like, uh-oh, what are we going to do now? Where Bo is like sink or swim, and eventually you're going to get slightly better and better and better and better. And then now it's like you're comfortable with a lot of things. I think he does that purposefully, and we built that cushion that we could kind of do that a little bit. But I totally agree. There's no way I see them rotating people playoff time. It just can't.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Got one more small one and one more big one. Okay. I guess small stock up, Marty Natchez. He's just unbelievable. Another small stock down.
Stud.
Lucas Kroll. Like, we haven't had him for I don't know how many months, and we haven't missed a beat. So like, it's like, what does he even do? If he's on this 53 next year, I'm going to be really, really upset. If he makes this roster week one, I told you guys I was going to flip out.
I love it with like guys that have been on IR that I completely forgot about just catch strays, bro. That's the best. Absolutely caught a stray. Same thing as like saying like, stock. Well, I guess you can't really say the same with. Well, you could say the same with Drew Sanders. I mean, our inside linebackers haven't been like phenomenal or anything, but it's a pretty interesting conversation actually. Maybe we will talk a little bit Drew Sanders if we have some time, because I'm fascinated by the convo. And even though I think I've kind of like given up on him, you never know. But yeah, Marty Natchez is a good one too. Were those the two, or was there one more?
No, that was one too.
Those are the two. I'm just pulling up some Marty Natchez numbers. Yeah. Oh, he had a goal. He had a goal tonight.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, he's a beast, man. The abs are stupid. The abs are ridiculous.
Oh wait, I have one more real quick one.
Go for it. Yeah.
I thought, and I said it to you the other day, but DJ Jones, I thought really played really well.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of those underrated guys. You don't see, he doesn't get the sacks, he doesn't get the pressures, but man, like stopping the run, if you didn't have him, we'd be a much different defense. So
Yeah.
he was doing a lot. I thought also Jaleel ran hard for his size. I thought, he gave us a little juice. So yeah, there's a few different little guys in there, but DJ Jones, he needed to be commented. Oh, and Pat Surtain getting another PI that led directly to points was like, what's happening here? Like this, I'm not used to this. I know that's unrealistic expectations to be like, go the whole season without getting a PI, but like, I just haven't seen like it's been like 2 out of the last 3 weeks that he's gotten.
It's been way too consistent.
Yeah,
it's just like I just feel like he didn't need to do that.
He didn't know where the football was, and he just kind of panicked. I think
a
little bit. He tried to play it off too, but like we're not going to get that call.
No.
So
he doesn't seem 100% right. He seems like something's been bugging him injury wise. I know he's been banged up a couple times, but he's kind of looked hot and cold. But
I agree.
Let's get that 1 seed. I feel like the whole secondary has like in the past month or so. I know that it's been very volatile this year, but in the past month, ever since the Commanders game, I feel like they're
Yep, that's what it feels like.
I have a mini stock up.
Okay.
Maybe my last one. He's not a Bronco though, but he should have been.
And gosh, I know.
Audric Estime, man.
Oh, okay.
Audric Estime, stock up. I was happy for the guy.
I didn't see what happened.
He basically had 100 yards, and then at the end of the game, he had like a couple of runs that they just absolutely blew up. That went -3, and then -3 again. So he ended up finishing the game with. Let me pull it up here.
Where's he at right now? I don't even know.
He's with New Orleans. He got the start.
Oh.
Yeah, 14 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. He also had a catch for 4 yards. He's been playing really well the last few weeks, man, and it bothers me. It bothers me.
Of course it does.
I get it, man. Like, Jaleel's looked good at times and whatever, but we don't really have a back that brings what Audric Estime brings. I really wish we could have kept him around. So just a little shout out there to Audric Estime. Hope he keeps balling.
Yeah. I feel like you just need to he's one of those guys that feels like he just needs 2 or 3 games with its full workload, and then he's going to be comfortable. But like coming in for 1 or 2 carries at a time, like here and there, it's just, that's not how he needs to warm up. He needs to like lather himself. You know what I mean? And there's no like consistent, it's like the Powers and Paczewski thing. Like they need constant reps and then they'll settle in, but you can't just go, oh, you get 3 tries. And if it's not there, then you sit for 2 quarters or something. It's like, no, that's just not how he is. So that's a bummer, but good for him.
Yeah. He was balling. That is for sure.
I thought you were going to say your boy Monungai again, but like that's a broken record.
No, yeah, it's a broken record. We've talked about that a lot.
He looks awesome.
We talked about a lot of I'm not surprised by it at all, man. He's just a good player.
Yep.
And unfortunate that he's not here, but hey, he's looking good for the Bears. All right, you want to get into hold your horses and giddy up?
Yeah, sure. All right, so let me pull it up. What's gonna go? Alex kind of answered it. I'll give you guys all the questions so you both can answer each one because there's only 3 of us. And you kind of answered this, but I'm gonna let you go off on it more. Is this still the best pass rush heading into the playoffs? The Denver Broncos pass rush.
You say you're giving it to me or giving it to?
I'm going to give it to Alex because he kind of went off on that a little bit first.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I still think that I'll put our defensive line against any offensive line heading into the AFC playoffs, especially Patriots down Will Campbell and Jared Wilson. I think Buffalo, I know Deion Dawkins got hurt. I don't know if he actually played yesterday or not, but, you look at the Texans offensive line, complete joke. Chargers offensive line, complete joke, especially without Slater and Alt. So, yeah, at the end of the day, like this pass rush, I will take our odds in the trenches, like offensive and defensive line against any other team in the AFC, like straight up. Maybe, I guess maybe not against Buffalo because they did show last year that, what they are capable of against our specific defense. But yeah, like there's literally nobody on the AFC side of the bracket that I think has what we do. Granted, Texans defense is nasty. Texans defensive line is nasty. And hey, if they actually do come up when it matters most, then yeah, sure. I'll admit that whatever, their pass rush is better than ours. But at the end of the day, I think just overall trenches, I will go with our team. But yeah, no, I still feel like it is the best pass rush, heading into the playoffs, especially because you saw, what they were, especially early on in the season. You saw that they were all systems go. And once again, I trust that our talent's just going to win out. I trust that our guys are just going to be better than all those other guys, because I'll take Benito, I'll take Cooper, I'll take Allen, I'll take JFM. I'll take those 4 guys rushing whoever. I don't care who it is. Like, those guys, just based on talent alone, regardless of whatever. Yeah, I still go with the Broncos. Like, what they have done early in the year has just been way too absurd for me to not have confidence in them.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Mark?
1,000%. No doubt about it. The best pass rush. Honestly, in my opinion, it's not even really that close. I mean, it might be when you're talking about the starters, but then you add Jonah Ellis and Dondrea Tillman as your third and your fourth guys. Doesn't come close. Zach Allen's an absolute stud on the inside. DJ Jones, we talked about him. We got depth there. Malcolm Roach can make plays. Yeah, I mean, by far and away the best pass rush, best D-line in the entire NFL for sure.
Yeah. I mean, not only like even I do believe that some of that is like they are trying to contain certain quarterbacks. They knew like the Chiefs quarterback, he wasn't going to throw for like 300 yards. Like his skill is running, right? So like I do think they told them like maintain like kind of mush rush and keep them in the pocket. And it didn't happen all the time. The one time they did fly around, he took off immediately. So I do feel like it's kind of by design, but I think they're really itching to like turn it up come playoff time too. And when you couple, that's why the first seed is so important. You couple it with altitude, possible weather, the Denver crowd, and then the pass rush. Like that's why no one would want to come here. And that's why like 2015 was so dominant. Ask Tom Brady, like how that day went for them, because it was just Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, just Derek Wolfe, all those guys just living in the backfield, getting jumps because they couldn't, the snap counts had to be like, they had to go off of like actually seeing the ball snapped and not going off of a snap count. So yeah, it's huge. I think I totally agree.
Well, and one last thing too, like the big thing about the defense, the reason the defense has taken a step back the last few weeks, because teams now are obviously trying to get the ball out of their hands as fast as they can.
Yep.
So Washington did. Teams started to do it. It forces our secondary to tackle. They've been missing some tackles. They shore that up, and they begin to tackle well and not give too much, and then teams have to kind of adjust away from those quick throws. The pass rush is really going to get unleashed. So that's going to be the big key. If we can figure out a way to stop those quick passes more consistently, we're going to be good.
Yeah. And what's the weirdest thing about this season, and I do not have complaints about how this season has gone, but like the one kind of odd thing is even with a really good pass rush that we've had, it hasn't resulted in a lot of turnovers, which is typically not the case. When you're getting that much pressure, usually, especially younger quarterbacks or like mid-tier quarterbacks, they're kind of like throwing stuff up for grabs more, and they just really haven't done that. And I don't know if it's because they know like it's PS2 out there and some other really, they have really good defensive back as well. But like, it's just weird that this team had this good of a defense and hasn't resulted in a bunch of turnovers. So I'm welcoming those anytime. Like that can still happen. And all that matters is they start happening in the playoffs, because the Russell Wilson year we had with Sean Payton, the only reason we were competing for this, like the playoffs near the end of that season, was because we had that streak of like 5 or 6 games where we were turning it over like 4 or 5 times. And everyone's like, oh, this is not sustainable. Well, hey, if we had 3 playoff games and they're all that way, then we're going to be world champions. So like you only need 3. So
exactly right.
So with the home field advantage and the crowd and everything, I know that they're making an emphasis on that, because that's the easiest way to win games is get turnovers. So, okay. Second question here. Alex also talked about this person, so I'm going to go to Mark on this one. First, Alex Forsyth showed in one game that we shouldn't be concerned about the center position.
No, I would say hold your horses for sure on that one. I thought he played great. I was happy it was against Chris Jones and like a decent defensive line. But no, there's going to be there's going to be bigger games that he's going to play in. There's going to be better opponents. Obviously, getting into the playoffs, you're going to have, some elite defensive linemen that you're going to go against. So I would say, yeah, it's way too early in one game, but I feel really good about it for a lot of things, like a lot of reasons. And it was even prior to the Kansas City game. One, Alex Forsythe has been with the team for a while, so he's familiar. Like, they obviously love him. He's been developing, doing his own thing. Him and Bo has got the chemistry from when they were in college, which I think is really important. But you know that he's going to know the checks, know the calls, and then you hear about how everyone talks about him. And it started with Bo Nix. Throughout the rest of the organization, they just talk about how unbelievably hard he works, how he prepares, as if he's a starter all the time. So those are all things that make me really optimistic. But I definitely think we have to see it more often for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I'm completely with Mark on this one. I'm holding my horses just simply because, while we were happy, it's still a 1-game sample size. And you know what? Ideally, with all 5 of these guys, I mean, we've had 4 out of these 5 guys going back to 2023, going back to Sean Payton's first year. We signed Powers at McGlinchey in the offseason. Obviously, Bowles and Miners are carryovers, but they would lose Cushenberry, and Wattenberg wins the job last year. So this offensive line has not had a lot of turnover. Now, I guess if there's one area where we have had some turnover, it was when Cushenberry went to Tennessee or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, it's still a good unit, and you want that continuity heading into the playoffs. And I think that's why we've been so good up front this year, is because we returned all 5 starters. So, and I feel like that just matters, and that just goes such a long way in the NFL, especially at the center position where you touch the ball every play, before the quarterback does. So, yeah, once again, hold your horses. Like, was it a good game by him? Absolutely. But, we got to see it long term. And we just extended Wattenberg for a reason. So, ultimately, that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah. I will say the one thing that is like gives me a lot of confidence is the fact that if this was just like a typical backup center that's just got one game under his belt and played well, I'd be like exactly the same. But just because he has such like experience with Bo himself, I feel like that takes it to the next level of where they already have a really good relationship and they're comfortable with each other. And if you noticed, like, I don't remember exactly if it was like after a touchdown or the winning play or whatever, or the final kneel down, but like Bo and him like immediately were like hugging it out. Like, Bo obviously super respects Alex Forsythe, saying he's like, nobody prepares harder in the league, which is like, what does he do so much that his backup center is preparing that hard? I don't know what he's doing, but like, that's the one thing that gives me confidence, because backup centers, you're like, oh God, is he going to start snapping it high or low or whatever? You don't know. And it just feels like remember the last season on that KC game that went south because of the block, like Bo was like first person to defend him and all that. So I don't know. I just feel like that's a good sign to have your backup center be almost like that close to your quarterback is good news.
And he played 4 games. I mean, he played in 4 games for us last year too. Can't forget that.
Yeah,
he was on our end, and he played really well.
Yeah, he was good. Really same time as Palczewski last year and for McGlinchey. So,
yeah, I always wanted to see what he could do, like putting him up against Wattenberg. The fact that they went with Wattenberg and then they signed Wattenberg that contract, I'm like, okay, but I mean, so far so good. It's looking good. So I hope it keeps it up. All right, this one I want you guys to rank who's most responsible for the turnaround that has led us to be AFC West champions again for the first time in a decade. I have 5 different people or groups, I guess, on one, and rank them 1 to 5. 1 being most responsible, 5 being least responsible. You got Sean Payton, George Payton, the Penners, Vance Joseph, and Bo Nix. And I started with Mark last time. Let's go with Kodiak.
Okay. Automatically, number 1 is Sean Payton, in my opinion. Okay. I know that this team was in on Harbaugh. I know that this team was in on D'Amico Ryans, but at the end of the day, you cannot convince me that going from such a losing culture to building a winning one overnight, saying we're not going to be doing what we did, under the previous regimes. He came in here in February of that year, and just a month earlier in January, Sean Payton was like, we are not going to do any of that Russell Wilson BS here. So that ultimately, to me, just claims that he just affirms by stamp that he is the most responsible. Now, there is no Sean Payton without the Penners. There is no Sean Payton without the Penners. And not only do you get the benefits of, being able to pay your head coach $18 million a year, because that does matter. Some teams cheap out on that, but ultimately, the Penners, what do? We see it every year. They pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure that we have a safe playing surface for games. They also, are paying so many assistant head coach salaries. How many assistant head coaches do we have on our coaching staff? Like 3. Okay. And once again, when your order is worth $250 billion, just do whatever you want to do. And then 3, I go Bo here. Like, obviously there is no, if you don't have a quarterback, you have basically nothing in the NFL. And you know what? The fact that it flipped around like that overnight when we had the right guy, not only leading our team, but it's clear what the players think about him. Hufanga going up to the podium wearing a Bo Nix shirt after week 1 this year when against the Tennessee Titans, Bo didn't have a very good game. That just shows me what this team thinks about their quarterback. Number 4, I think, do I go Vance or George Payton here? You know what? I go Vance here. And here's why. So this defense obviously flipped the switch overnight. They went from, allowing 70 points in 2023 to generating that insane stretch of turnovers. And while it hasn't been fun the past month or so, I think everybody in Broncos country can say with confidence that this has been absolutely fantastic. Now, 5, George Payton, I don't want to short him. I don't want to discredit him. I think, I've shit on him a lot over the past year, whether it's deserved or not. And I don't apologize for how I feel about him or how I felt about him, but he is a really nice team without Sean Payton. But if you're going to lose one, I think, that's the one that you're most apt to be losing. And I think the continuity would still be completely fine. Now, obviously, still a very, very important part of this team, but we've seen what George Payton looks without Sean Payton, and that's just what I'm going off of, unfortunately. Results-based industry.
Yeah. Mark, what do you think?
Love it.
Any changes?
Yeah. Well, would you have a number 1?
Sean.
Oh, Sean. Yeah. So I have it flipped. I have the Penners as number 1. And the reason for me is just my logic is it always starts from the top down. I mean, Sean Payton always says the number 1 reason why he wanted to take this job was because of the ownership group, because he knew how important it was. So yes, Sean Payton, you could easily rank him number 1, and it's hard. Like, you can basically, flip the 2. But the thing about the Penner group, man, is that they've shown that they're just committed to allow for everything to be maximized. And they've really allowed for Sean to do everything that he's wanted to do, from the little things to the big things, traveling better, nutrition program, better practice facility, the best surfaces to play on, everything. They've gotten all of that as well. So I think it definitely starts from the top down. I mean, I always used to say it, and my wife was always so confused. Like, why does the ownership really matter that much in sports if, like, they don't make direct personnel decisions all the time? But it's just because of the culture. It's because of exactly what it means to be a Bronco. Like, this ownership group has single-handedly turned us from being one of the franchises that nobody wanted to play for. Not forget being terrible and all the other, like, being memes and all that. Like, no one wanted to play here because we never paid our guys, to everyone wants to come here and everybody buys in because they know that if they perform, they're going to get rewarded. So that's what it means to be a Bronco. I think it's massively huge. Number 2, I had Sean Payton. I think Kodiak's reasons were all the same reasons as mine. He's just been masterful in terms of reading the room, managing the roster, understanding, having a plan, sticking to it, having guys buy in, keeping guys as healthy as they can, putting them in the best position to succeed on the field. He's been a beast. Bo Nix, number 3 for me as well. As you said, you don't have a quarterback, you don't have anything. He's single-handedly brought belief to the team, to the city, and he's just been awesome. He's been getting better and better, which is great. And then I do got Vance Joseph at 4, and George Payton at 5. Again, I don't think that – I think George Payton's been great since, he's done more good than bad. He's done a lot of bad. I think he's done a lot more good. But he's been really good since him and Sean Payton have been working together, so you've got to think Sean's got a lot to do with that as well. Obviously, George learned from his mistakes, and he's willing to, like, get rid of those mistakes quickly, like which I appreciate, because I hate when someone's like, "Oh, I signed him, so we're going to ride it out." He's shown that he can, get rid of those mistakes, and he's very good in the draft. So you got to give him that. But yeah, it's a really good list because I think all of them are massive pieces to the Broncos' success overall.
Yeah, I would, just to change it up slightly. I mean, for me, Sean's one, just because it's like I saw what happened when Shanahan came in. They had Pat Bowlen and they had John Elway, but it wasn't until Shanahan came in and changed the culture to where they became like a perennial contender. And I feel like that's Sean Payton and Mike Shanahan are so similar in the way that they just control the emotion and the leader of that whole club. Like, just the fact that, I mean, I can't understate it enough. The changing of the culture was like so hard to do. And like, there was a lot of losing and a lot of like, I mean, you heard the players, and for him to be like, I know we just paid this guy 80 some million. We're getting rid of him and shipping out certain people. Justin Simmons is like, no offense to him, but like, that's not a popular move at the time. And people are like, why are you doing this? Like, Von Miller saying he wants to come back. No, thanks. Like, just like, he has a way to do things and he's going to do it that way. And it works. And he has everybody bought in. And he handpicked my number 2, which is Bo Nix, just because, again, like, you can look at like a team like the Bengals where Joe Burrow can like lift a bad franchise with bad owners to like Super Bowl contention. And I feel like we saw so many quarterbacks throughout that time that didn't give us belief. We hoped, and then it was like, but we really knew, like, he was the first one since, you know, I mean, Peyton, obviously, but we knew that was a short-term thing, but Elway is just running a franchise and just having that spirit of the Broncos. Like just Broncos country loves Bo Nix because of the way he just kind of galvanizes like the feelings of it. But then it's Penners 100%. I think you could put them one. I totally agree with that. And then I'd probably go Vance and then George, but George has been so good with Sean Payton as well. I agree. I think that is the perfect like yin and yang, because they're kind of stylistically different, but like they're very methodical in the way they think. So just wanted to think about that's an interesting exercise, because it's just like these last 10 years have been quite the roller coaster, and typically down. So I mean, I know like the team kind of wanted to kind of downplay the whole AFC West champions because we got bigger goals right now, but like, it's been 10 years, and it's been 10 years. Like, I know even in that game we just played, we hadn't won an Arrowhead since 2015. Like, that is not an easy thing to do. So like, I know it wasn't against Patrick Mahomes, but it still was against Chris Jones. It still was against Travis Kelce. It still was against a defense that absolutely wanted to beat us. So, and we felt like, oh, it was a bad day because we only won by a touchdown, something we hadn't done in 10 years. So that tells you just how different we look at things now.
Definitely.
So that's where I'm at. Definitely,
man. Expectations are not nearly where they used to be. That is for sure, and they shouldn't be. So it's a wonderful thing. Any other hold your horses or giddy ups?
I just was no, not really. That was pretty much my biggest one. Was there a favorite win that you guys had this year? Like, where you just were thinking, like, was there a moment when you felt like this is different than what it's been?
Chiefs for me, 100%. The reason I thought the Chiefs game was fantastic was because we saw all the BS of the typical Kansas City dynasty. We saw the ref ball. We saw, them clawing themselves back into the game late. But once Bo Nix outplayed Patrick Mahomes for the second year in a row in the middle of November, I was like, oh, man, this team has it. And last year, it took a catastrophic special teams mistake for them to beat us in Arrowhead. But this year, we finally got the job done. And once again, a lot of ticky-tacky stuff went Kansas City's way, and we were still clawing up against that. It was an uphill battle for ourselves, and we made it happen. So for me, it's basically the Chiefs, because I hate them. I hate them so much, and that felt so amazing.
Yeah. Do you have a different moment, Mark, where you felt like, oh, man, this might be different this year?
I had a lot of moments that made me think, like, man, this team is definitely different. Like, just all the wins. I think coming back against the Giants to me was like, holy hell. But it was it was also like frustrating that we even had to come back that much against the Giants. But I'd have to agree with Kodiak, man. I mean, when you finally beat the Chiefs the first time around with Mahomes, with everyone, they had everything to play for. The pressure was really all on them in a way. And I just felt like we went out there and just whooped them up. I mean, I know it was a field goal win, but I felt like we were in control. We were the better team the whole time. So that was definitely the most satisfying win for me, for sure. But I'll say this, man, if we beat the Chargers this week and we get the number 1 seed, that's going to be the most satisfying one to date for me, because, man, just the difference that makes for the outlook of the season heading into the postseason. So, yeah, well, good stuff, fellas, man. We've been going. It's been 14-3. Can you believe that?
I can't.
That's a possibility. It's unbelievable. I can't believe we're even at 13-3 right now. It's nuts.
Right. Yeah. When we did that like predictions thing, and if anybody would have been like, yeah, 14-3, I feel good about 14. Like we would have been like, come on, dude. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right.
You're out of your mind. No doubt.
It's amazing. Yeah. The one real quick one, and I'm going to echo what Millerton was saying. That Packers game was one of those ones where you're just like, you got to see everything the offense could be too, as opposed to not just in a quarter, but just like throughout the game. And that felt like, oh man, this team is 100% legit, can win a Super Bowl. And it doesn't come down to some like miraculous thing. It's like,
yeah,
they can legit do it. So that I'll throw that one in too.
Yeah, I love this tweet, man. I was thinking about this earlier. If it's crazy, dude. If the Broncos were in the NFC South, we would have clinched this division in like October, I think.
Dude, this like, is the most NFC South thing I have ever seen right here. Dude, okay, the Colts collapsing is understandable, but what in the world happened to Tampa, dude? They're 1-7 in their last 8. They're literally one of the worst teams in the league.
And they have
right
a chance.
Now.
They still have a chance to make the playoffs.
Oh, unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
At 8-9 is going to get you in. And they're going to get a home game. That's the crazy part. Damn. That's why they need to change that rule for sure, in my opinion. Yeah. All right, gents. Well, Miller Time earlier said, Jeremy and Kodak, I need your channel so I can subscribe. T-Fish has had him in the comments. He did say the link is in the description. But if you want to let the rest of the viewers know, Jeremy, where can they find you? And what do you got? You got anything cooking up for us as we head into a massive Week 18 game?
Yeah, Broncos Unbridled is the handle. And I would love some subscriptions. That'd be awesome, because I don't post nearly as much as these two do. But yeah, no, I'm excited. My guy
still's got more subscribers in one video.
I had one video on there that was not Broncos related go viral. That was huge for me, but way back in the day. But yeah, no, I'm just excited to watch this final game. Like, let's just get out of this game clean with a win. And let's just prepare for the playoffs, man. I mean, this has been an amazing year, but like, I honestly do feel like Sean is his genius comes at like proving these guys properly, getting their mind right. And that's what it's going to take. And we're not going to get calls. That's why like home field is the one thing they can't take away from us if we have it, right? If we earn that, like they can't up and move it to another town at halftime. It's like, and the refs are going to be less likely to call. I'm not going to say they won't, because they will, but like less likely when the whole 70-some thousand is getting on their ass about it. So like, let's just handle our business. Let's go with the number 1 seed. I would love to just, let the Broncos country have an opportunity to like scream their heads off in a playoff game like since 2015. It's been so long since they've had a chance to do that. So that would be awesome.
Let's go, Kodiak.
Yeah. So I am Kodiak Broncos. You can find me on YouTube or TikTok. And real quick, I just want to say I will be there on Sunday. And the Broncos are 5-0 since I have seen them in the past 2 years, going back to last year. I saw them against Cleveland last year, the Colts. I saw them against Tennessee. I saw them against the Giants. I saw them against the Packers. And even though a couple of those games were completely improbable, every time I've been in attendance the past 2 years, they have won. So if you guys want to start a GoFundMe for the first playoff game and hopefully the divisional round and hopefully the AFC Championship, then by all means, I'll give you my Venmo. But at the end of the day, yeah, just an absolute pleasure that I've gotten to experience this with y'all. It feels like the NFL season went by like that. because football
Always
months go
does.
by probably 5 times faster than non-football months. But man, what an absolute pleasure it has been to chat with y'all Broncos country this season. And yeah, overall, let's finish the year strong. And I'm hyped. I am hyped to finally have a playoff game in Denver for the first time in a decade.
Yes, sir. Me too. I hope you didn't just announce or curse it, man. But I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
I knocked
if you
on
make
wood,
it,
so don't worry about
if
it.
you make it 6-0, we'll get that GoFundMe started for sure.
Very cool.
But that's right, guys. That is right. Go make sure you subscribe to both of the channels on YouTube, on TikTok, on all the socials. Guys, it's been an unbelievable year, man. And we're not even done yet, baby. We're not even done. But by far and away, of all the highlights that this season has given, the highlight truly for me is doing Horsepower Hour with you guys every single Monday. It's been something that I always look forward to. This community that we built, all these great people that I met, it's always been great. So looking forward to many, many more of them, man. And hopefully we're going to take this strong through February. That is the goal this season. But appreciate y'all, man. Everybody in the chat, you guys have been dope. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a very, very happy New Year. Man, go Broncos, baby.
Go Broncos,
Peace
baby.
out.